Welcome to Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero for the introduction to macroeconomics. Don't be scared. It's not that bad. This is part two of the course. This is the second course for macroeconomics. We covered the first course in 403, and now we have 404, which is the second part of macroeconomics. This is such a big field that it requires at least two courses, and in many instances, more than two courses. But I'm giving you the bare bones broken down into simple explanations of complex policies, and so it only requires two courses. Today is lesson one, and today we're going to look at the Fed. The Fed is an organization in the United States that is primarily responsible for either raising or lowering interest rates. Because interest rates are probably the prime factor for releasing money into the economy or tightening up the economy, whichever way the Fed and the FOMC decides. The FOMC is a major subcommittee of the Fed. But let's do one thing at a time. The Fed is responsible for raising or lowering the interest rates. That's what you should primarily know about the Fed. If the money is tight, they will lower the interest rate, so money becomes more available. If money is readily available or too available, and the economy is a bit loose and overheated, they may increase the interest rates, and then the economy will begin to stabilize once again. That's pretty much the role of the Fed. Let's look at the role of the FDIC. The FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and its job is to make sure that the money that you're saving in the bank is still there when you want to go get it and take it out. Unfortunately, in the 1930s, after the 1929 market crash, people went to the bank and their savings were gone. They didn't have the FDIC then. So it's truly a tragic situation. I mean, somebody saves up money their whole lives. Let's say you're 60 years old in 1929, and you finally have saved up enough money for your retirement, and now it's gone. Oh, that's why there were so many suicides in 1929. So that's FDIC prevents that from happening in modern day banking. Then you have the PAD, which is the portfolio allocation decision making. This is a fancy name for diversification. The Fed does the same thing that you do, the same thing that banks do. We diversify our savings, hopefully. We invest a little bit in stocks, a little bit in bonds, a little bit in physical goods, and maybe we invest in real estate. We diversify our investments. And that's what PAD does. It diversifies the investments of the country, what little money they have, because we're always running a deficit budget. So there's not a lot of money for the Fed to allocate. However, even though the country runs in a deficit budget, every year the taxes come in, and so the Fed has to decide where those taxes go, other than the political parties in Washington, D.C., for the national budget. So they advise the Congress, we think it should go here, we think it should go there, and that's pretty much, a suggestion. The Congress generally dictates where the money goes. Let's see. And then you have the FOMC, The FOMC is the monetary committee with 11 heads and 22 legs. There's a joke that goes along with that, but I won't mention it here. The committee decides whether to raise or lower interest rates and whether or not there's inflation. If there's a lot of inflation, then you might have tighten up the money supply because it's getting out of hand. And if money is if the economy is not flowing too well, then you might want to lower the interest rates and get more people to take loans. So there you have it. You have the Fed, the FDIC, PAD, which is the Portfolio Allocation Decisions, and FOMC. Until next time, this is Professor Tefero for Introduction to Macroeconomics, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.